Welcome to Malt Liquor Socialists. I'm your host, Mr. Kieffer, and today I'm joined by the pleasantly warm Mr. Morgan.
I am warm today.
Yes, it's going to be triple digits today and tomorrow, and it's going to be great. Today, we're going to be going over the Ron Wyden Town Hall that was planned to occur on August 18th, and we are going to have a guest to talk about that planned town hall.
Whoa.
Yeah, so, and this guest has shared some videos that he took of that town hall. So it is with great enthusiasm that I introduced our guest, Eric.
Hi. Yep. I'm stoked to be here. I am also very warm. It is hot already. And, man, if I could protest the weather, I totally would.
That's fair. Geez. No, it's, driving us a little bit nuts. We're in an air-conditioned room, and it's, when I say air-conditioned, the air conditioner is loud. I crank it up and then we have to turn it off before we record because it's insanely loud, and then it starts getting hot and it sucks. So this is the first time we've actually done like an actual interview for this podcast. I preface that with the hope that both our guest and any listeners might spare us with a little bit of grace as we stumble through the interview and hopefully make a decent job of it.
We'll try.
Okay. So, Eric, Mr. Morgan has a general idea of what happened at the planned town hall, but he wasn't there. However, I was there, and I got to experience the fun that ensued. I believe after we actually talked a little bit before we left for the day.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't know that was that it was you from the podcast. So,
no, I'm sneaky that way.
Yeah, we like to try to keep everything as organic as possible.
So,
sure.
What I would like to do is I would like you to paint us a picture of what happened at this planned town hall as you experienced it. And then Mr. Morgan and I can perhaps ask you some clarifying questions. Now, we do realize that you have a bit of a time limit today.
And a little bit, yeah.
So if we're coming up to that time limit, just let us know. And it's like there's no harm, no foul. It'll be fine.
Awesome, man. Yeah. I'm stoked.
Cool. So, regale us. What has happened at this event?
So the whole event got steamrolled by anti-Zionist protesters. In short, it happened really quickly. Almost as soon as Senator Wyden took the mic, some people stood up and started speaking and didn't stop, pretty much. It was... go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's not in any way, shape, or form wrong. That is a good summarization of what was happening with that. So I want to check. I'm going to start off. I got these videos in the order that you sent them in.
Sure.
And I dropped the volume on the first one. This is when Ron Wyden was introduced and first started. The video itself is about 55 seconds long. I probably won't play the whole thing, just enough so we can get an impression of like what happened with this for our listeners and such, and for Mr. Morgan, who's actually able to see the video.
Right.
Good, sir. Are you ready, Morgan?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Cool.
Senator Wyden.
Excuse me, Senator Wyden.
Yep, right here.
Yep.
Yeah, so it seemed that like the protesters were sort of dispersed amongst the audience, and stood up from their chairs and met up in the center hall, alleyway there, and went up towards the stage, and they're holding flags and banners and such. And I initially couldn't understand what they were talking about. And I had no idea that this was going to happen. I had no background history of Wyden's politics. I actually had to look him up just before going.
Mm-hmm.
And so all this was just sort of like out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like I'm coming into this new. So, yeah, it looks exactly how you said. I think if I would have been in that crowd, I wouldn't have been knowing what's going on, too. It seemed a little kind of out of the blue, I guess.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very much so. And I did go to this town hall very much knowing, like, Ron Wyden's position about what these people were protesting. Later, during the town hall, I had no idea who the heck they were. And afterwards, I think it was mentioned in the news, and I could very well be wrong with this because I heard it from somebody else. I did not actually catch the news that mentioned it. But it sounds like these people largely sorry, one sec. There we go. Consisted of the Pepper Shakers. And the Pepper Shakers, if I'm recalling correctly, they're a counter movement to the Salt Shakers in the area.
Oh, no.
So basically, the Pepper Shakers, if I'm remembering correctly, when you go to protests and you see the Salt Shakers and they have their abortion is evil and like that whole thing. The Pepper Shakers are the people that go there and out loud them to get them to shut up and quit.
Okay.
Huh.
So now, granted, take out the huge grain of salt, not from a shaker, just because that's hearsay in regards to what I know. But it kind of makes sense with what they were doing in terms of how they were doing it. So let's go.
I mean, yeah, they definitely had that strategy down for sure. That definitely out louding, people with microphones and the majority of the crowd.
Oh, yes.
But yeah. Go on.
All right, let's go to the next video. So this is the one you had of the one lady as she was talking to people while others were chanting. It's about 1 minute and 40 seconds long.
Ron Wyden is a war criminal. He is no longer a fit for Oregon, and he must step down. He takes funds from AIPAC and the Israel lobby, and he will keep committing genocide no matter how much we tell him to stop sending bombs and money to Israel. He will continue because he's bought with $1.3 million from AIPAC. He's accepted funds in $1.3 million from AIPAC, and he refuses to stop taking those funds. That is from a foreign country. He will not stop taking Israel's money. He's a war criminal. He does not speak for the American people. He does not speak for Oregonians. He should be tried in the head.
Okay. So I have to give you credit because when you're filming this lady, you're getting her voice very well.
Yeah.
I was in that crowd, except when she was like close to me doing her laps, I could not hear squat.
Yeah, well, that's why I followed her, because I was genuinely curious about what she was protesting, what their message was. And yeah, I mean, that's like I was learning what the beef was as I was filming that. And I completely agree with them. Like I'm totally on their side. With regards of the Palestine issue.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I don't know if you want to talk about this a little bit later, but I can't really argue the method that much. I mean, there's so many correct avenues that people have gone through that haven't really done anything or much of anything. And I don't know how much this is doing, but it got people talking about it in the very least.
It absolutely did. And this did not scale into a riot, but there is a quote, "A riot is the voice of the unheard."
Yeah.
And this is something that, huge issue. And as far as I can tell, everything she was saying was not wrong. Like Ron Wyden has received money from these groups. He has very much been in support of Israel and Gaza, and he's kind of tried to play like this tightrope between the two. It's like he's very supportive of Israel. Mm-hmm. Fine. That's great. That's his business. I don't care. Where I like to draw the line is when you're funding Israel, butchering civilians, that's an issue.
That's a red line.
For sure.
Very much so. And Ron Wyden's done this thing when he's asked about it or he's called out on it. He will say that he doesn't support Netanyahu and he doesn't support what Israel's doing in Gaza. But his, what was it? He voted to fund the weapons for Israel. I don't remember if it was to actually give them weapons or if it was to give them money for weapons. But
it's one and the same, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's splitting hairs at that point. But he voted in favor of that. And when he was asked about it, he said that, well, I'm voting for this because Israel still has a right to defend itself against foreign enemies like Iran. And the problem is, most of these weapons aren't being used against Iran. Most of these weapons are being used against Gaza civilians. So he does this little dance of, no, I still support Israel, but I don't support what Israel's doing, but how I vote supports what Israel's doing, even though I don't support. It's very strange. So let's see. The next video we have here is about 2 minutes and 10 seconds from you.
Ron Wyden is a war criminal. He is no longer a fit for Oregon.
Yeah, the thing it starts to kind of roll into the clip you played previously.
Okay. So, but what I like about that clip specifically is one of the issues, at least I had with the protest, because again, I agree with their message entirely. But one of the issues I had with it was, for a lot of it, it felt like there could have been more, because people practice for protests. It felt like there could have been more practice, like more rehearsal. And I think that would have gone a long way to, I mean, there were people who were just like you. It's like, what the hell are they yelling about? This is, I can't hear anything. It's all like 5 different people are yelling 5 different things. And it's like, there needs to be some coherent, like we are chanting together. And they hit that at some points, but this is a great example of, they they didn't have that. It's just a loud rumble from these people that you can't determine what they're saying.
Well, I think the acoustics of the gym has a lot to do with that also. That space is really echoey. I work there on Mondays, and as the gym supervisor, and even when there's just two people talking to each other in a completely empty gym, and when there's 30, 40 feet between the two of them, it's like the echo kind of distorts a lot of the clarity of what's being said.
That is definitely true. I do still wonder though. It's like, because again, you had like 5 or 6 of them at a time, all chanting different things. And it's like, if they were chanting like in a practiced unison, there still probably would have been a lot of distortion. It would have been hard to hear them. But I would hope that, I think it might sound at least clearer. You wouldn't have people going, well, what are they? This is all echoing around. It's like, I'm hearing echoes of Palestine. I think it would have helped, even though it would have been a bit much still.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. But let's see. Audio down. And this one's about 54 seconds.
Yeah, they're a little bit more unified right here.
Yeah.
So like, to your point before, when there is more of a cohesion between the protesters, or within the protesters, that's when they're more kind of lumped together a little bit. There was a lot of situations where they were dispersed sort of throughout the entire place and maybe a little too far, which kind of gave themselves a disconnect between each other.
Yeah. And I recall that was about the time that the president of the college basically was telling them, it's like, okay, we're done. Please leave. Sorry, I just realized it's like, I'm actually in this video. I'm not making noise. I'm just in there in the lime green shirt right there.
Nice.
Geez. Do I look like that in the shirt? Oh, God, I do. Anyways, so, yeah, this one definitely, though, you're right. They're mostly on one location, and their message is much more audible, much more coherent.
Well, and I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of people looked like they had cleared out by then.
Also true.
Yeah, so the message was a little bit louder. But yeah, it's a very interesting dichotomy that I'm seeing here, because I was hearing people in the crowd that were kind of expressing support for Wyden, but then I was also hearing people that were expressing support, suppress shouting against him too. So it was kind of hard to make out, what the protesters wanted over the, chorus of people wanting to hear Wyden. So I think that goes to Kieffer's point of, if they would have practiced a little bit more and maybe would have thought about, basically read your audience, it might have worked a little bit better.
So,
yeah, I don't think they were really concerned about reading the audience. I think their full purpose was to just shut it down. I understand, a lot of people wanted to hear what he said. I wanted to hear what he said, had to say also. And other people had questions that they wanted to speak up about and kind of have their turn with the microphone, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's just, why a lot of people were really upset and it was, really annoying for them because, they took the afternoon off or what have you and this and that. But that's overall, that's really the point of it. And that the disruption was such that, it was, it was supposed to disrupt all that.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't really thinking like, they were trying to shut it all down, but now that you mention it, no, I'm on board with that now. Yeah.
I mean, I was one of those people who took the last of the day off in order to go see it.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard it's like, oh, there's a town hall. It's on Monday. Fuck. God damn it. I have work that day. Then my response was to ask, hey, can I take this day off? And I was just told just to make sure you're not wearing any of your work's logos or anything on your clothing. And yeah, you can do that. But I mean, I had questions to ask, and it was kind of like, oh, damn it. But at the same time, my questions were kind of in line with the protesters. So,
Right.
But I can also see it's like you probably had a lot of people who were going to ask questions that were not necessarily in line with the against the protesters. I imagine you might have some people who would go up there and praise Ron because of what he's doing with Israel. We have those people in this area. I've gotten lots of arguments with them online because it's productive. But there's also other questions that have nothing to do with the Israel-Palestine situation. That's more of local politics that, right. Ron Wyden is your representative. You want to ask him, and you didn't get a chance. I totally see how that's frustrating.
Yeah.
The next video we have here is about 1 minute and 24 seconds long, and I believe it is you talking with an older gentleman wearing sunglasses, black shirt, and a baseball cap.
Yeah, go ahead and play that one.
Ooh, here.
What went on there, you think? A bunch of young students, I think, well, I don't know if it's students, I think they just disrupted the whole thing. So they finally gave up and said, hey, we're not going to be able to do it.
You seem to be on the same side.
Oh, I'm on the side of no money for bombing Gaza, yeah. But I wasn't into disrupting the whole process. I think they would have been more effective if they let everybody else have a chance to talk.
Oh, is that?
I went up and argued with him. I went up and talked to him and said, hey, you made your point. Let other people ask.
On Sunday.
Anyway, it is what it is. So one woman said, these are drastic times. Maybe, who knows? Maybe that's what has to happen. He supports the war. And he does. I heard him speak at one town hall, and he did say some pretty disturbing stuff. He was totally in. People pointed out that we're killing students over there, and here he is at a high school giving a talk about how he supports Israel. So there's that.
That's just terrible.
I mean, generally I support Ron Wyden. I think he does some really good stuff, and he supports a lot of things I believe in.
Hey, Bear.
And I'm kind of disappointed they didn't give it a break and let everything.
So,
yeah, so I guess it's a little hard to hear, but from what I remember him saying, and this guy was also holding a protest sign himself, so he wasn't part of the pepper shaker protest. That he was there more to ask questions, hold up sign. I believe his sign said something to the fact of stop bombing Gaza and something like that, which is why I said that he seemed to be on the side of the protesters, and kind of like what we're saying is he was on their side, and he wanted to have his turn with the mic, so he was a little bit disappointed. However, he kind of came up with this same conclusion that, like, well, maybe this does need to happen. Maybe.
Yeah, I did hear.
He was.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, he was also saying that he had attended a previous speech, and he was saying some disturbing things. If I'm kind of paraphrasing a quote. That Wyden was saying about Israel. And, so it's just kind of like a mixed reaction from the crowd, even of those who support the protesters or supported the message from the protesters.
And I agree very much with that and that sentiment. I mean, you can support the message, but still be frustrated with how they're delivering it. And
like me, like, you know, watching these videos, like I'm kind of, you know, for lack of a better term, I would say I'm on the fence. Like, part of me is like, you know, yeah, like, fuck them. Like, we need to scare these people into, like, you know, listening to us. But at the same time, you know, they're not going to take our questions. There's not going to be this, you know, back and forth kind of question and answer thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I am conflicted, very much so.
Yeah. And for context, Mr. Morgan here, one of the things we've done on this podcast prior is with another state representative who has not held any physical town halls since he started getting protests. Mr. Cliff Bentz, who's very conservative. He ended up holding a telephone or virtual town hall, and we ended up playing audio of that. We tore it apart because there was a lot of stuff. Bentz is insanely pro-Trump, and so that's kind of like our experience, at least with talking about those on the podcast. But yeah, no, it's a shame because I do think this is one of those things where if this is a continuing thing, I can see how Ron Wyden would stop doing town halls. And I don't think he should, although I do think people like this, you know, should be critical of him during these town halls. Absolutely. But if this stuff keeps up, I can see him going, okay, well, there's not much point in this, so I'm not going to do them.
Yeah, instead of actually changing his policy.
Right, exactly.
Which, and really, to be honest, as long as he's receiving money from Israel, I don't think he's going to care about, you know, protesters protesting.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
I very much agree.
Yep.
So the next video we have on here is an elderly lady, short white hair, wearing a shirt that has red, blue, and a little bit of green designs on it.
Against the war completely, you know, and it's just sad, you know. It's just, I've been watching this for 50 years, and it's just one of those things that will slow, Jim. It's like, I'm sorry, and nobody woke up walking around yet.
No, I feel it. Like, honestly, like, I'm on this, like, same side. So I know almost nothing about the senator, where he gets his money from, or any of that. I do appreciate learning. And this is an exciting way to learn all of it.
I haven't followed him on this issue, so I would know.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, dark one here in the light.
Okay. But yeah, no, she, I feel like she made a valid point. And again, it's like, there's a lot of talking going on. But I think she made a very valid point pertaining to the, like there's been a slow genocide going on there for years. It's not something like suddenly this is happening. This is something that's been happening for a long time. And it was just the October 7th event ended up like kicking into overdrive.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing to catch up on, because a lot of people, I think, end up looking at this situation, just think, oh yeah, October 7th. And then now it's hell there. It's like, it's been that way for a good long time. There's actually there's a This Week Tonight with John Oliver, which occurred after the, if I'm recalling correctly, after the October 7th attacks from Hamas, but it goes into a lot of history there, especially recent history, where if you're Palestinian in Gaza and you're trying to like relocate or move or anything with what's, you know, also your ancestral lands as well, it's all under control of the Israeli government, and they will block anything and everything that is not specifically Israeli. It's very oppressive.
Zionism. That's as far as you know. It's my understanding of the definition is it's like the white supremacy analog.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and it's something where it's just it's very bizarre because you do have a lot of people in the Hebrew community who they look at this, and they look at their history, and it's a lot of this is what happened to us in Europe in the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is going on? And then you have a lot of people who are Zionists who will go, no, this is different, and you saying that is anti-Semitic. And it's like it's not anti-Semitic to acknowledge these parallels. It's bizarre, and also it's sad.
Yeah. Agreed. And complicated.
Yes.
Well, actually, it's not. Actually, I take that back, because genocide is not complicated. It's just like, you know what I mean, like.
No, I agree. The genocide's not the complicated part.
No.
When I say it's like when you say it's complicated, I'm not thinking the genocide. I'm thinking, okay, it's complicated in the sense of you have people who've experienced, like, you still have people who are alive today who experienced concentration camps in World War II, albeit they were children, but they still experienced this. And then you have other people who experience this and they don't see the parallel. It's like, yeah, no, this isn't like that. It's like, how is this not like that? And effectively, it almost seems to come down to, well, it's us doing it, so that makes it different.
Yeah. It makes us, and the fact that, like, we're kind of backing the actions and the kind of narrative that America is a force of right and justice and such. Kind of feeding in the whole American exceptionalism.
Yeah, history doesn't show that to be true, but yeah, it's the message.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of the videos we got here, I just want to show one more because I don't know exactly. There was one video I didn't want to show because you actually asked the person, they said, please don't. And it's like, I'm going to respect that because, But there's one more video I want to show. I think this was starting to check with the protesters, possibly. It starts off with a young man with a kind of a grayish blue shirt wearing what I assume are dark jeans. Okay, and yeah, that video was outside the protesters, doing a chant again. It wasn't a bad chant, but it was like as people were dispersing. I just wanted to have that in there because it's like that was, again, effectively their message. Do not disagree with it. I love that message, and I totally support it. Now, that being the end of the videos that we're gonna go over, I do have a couple of questions to ask you, and some of these got answered in our discussion so far, and I'm not going to ask those, or I'm going to try to avoid those. I don't have a lot typed up. It's like 4 maybe. So my first one here is, when you went to the town hall, were you hoping to actually be able to ask Wyden any questions, or were you just going there to participate and see what's going on?
I just wanted to be a fly on the wall. I had no questions for him. I just wanted to see what the vibe was like and what people were asking and what and how they were answered.
Okay,
that's it.
Cool. Regarding the college, the host of the town hall, I want to know what's your impression regarding how they handled the protesters. I'm not looking for anything critical or anything brown-nosing. I just want to know what's your impression of how they handled the protesters.
In my opinion, I think pretty well. No one no one tackled him. You know, they let him speak. You know, I think they, you know, it was handled well.
Yeah. I am in complete agreement with that. There wasn't anything. I don't think they could have done anything better. They absolutely could have done stuff worse. But okay. And the last general question I have here was pertaining to the protesters, and I want to know: was there anything that you think the protesters should have or could have done differently that might have been more effective for their message?
You know, I've been thinking about that for a while, honestly, and I really don't know. If their goal was to shut it down, then no, they did it. If their goal was to get a coherent message across and maybe actually, you know, communicate that more so to the audience, then perhaps maybe they could have kept it outside and handed out, I don't know, like actual like information flyers and stuff to people about Wyden, maybe. And I don't know if they already tried things of that nature or if that sort of stuff, you know, already happened unsuccessfully or what. It really seemed like their mission was to steamroll it, and which they did. So that being that, then no, they did it well.
Yeah. No, they definitely did. That's something that I also had been thinking about for a bit. I did not, when I was thinking about this, I did not take it from the angle of maybe their goal was to steamroll the town hall. And maybe that's the fact that I'm over 40 and my brain just it's not as flexible as it used to be when I was younger. My whole thought process on this was thinking from my point of view on this, which, hooray, again, I'm not the age yet of I like to yell at kids to get off my lawn, but I'm getting there. And from my point of view on this, like what I would have loved to have seen them do, which again does not necessarily line up with their goals in any way, shape, or form. I think it would have been great if they started off first being more coherent and more like we're practiced in this, but 10 minutes. Interrupt for 10 minutes, do the protest, and then wind down, sit down, and then if questions come up about Israel and Ron Wyden, which I'm very certain they would have because I at least had a question, and I'm sure other people did as well. If Ron Wyden tried to answer in a way that was duplicitous or wasn't entirely truthful, you know what? That's an opportunity for you guys to rise back up and start protesting again of like, this is bullshit. I think that would have been much more effective in terms of the messaging.
Agreed. Yeah.
Now, for the whole purpose of like steamrolling the town hall, no, that would not have been effective. And if that was their goal, then yeah, they knocked it out of the park. But I would have loved to have seen just this whole like, yeah, no, we are going to we're going to calm down now. But if you lie on this, we're going to get riled back up and we're going to make it apparent that we know you are lying and make it apparent that you are lying. Because there were people there from the media recording this. Not least of which, but also not greatest of which. Commissioner Chris Barnett was there. We on the podcast have very strong opinions of Barnett. None of them are positive. And so, yeah, when I first saw him there, my first thought was like, oh, this is going to be on one of his 7 now? Social media news outlets, in air quotes there, that he runs on top of being a commissioner. I don't know how the heck he does it. I swear it's time wage theft or something. But yeah, I think it would have been much more interesting for like just media in general, because I'm pretty sure KOBI covered it. And that would have been more interesting if the whole thing was covered and, hey, we actually have him being countered as opposed to just steamrolled.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I can only imagine that their goal was to steamroll it and sort of take it over, because they didn't calm down. And you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like they didn't do the things that you said or the things that I said, because that wasn't their goal. I only gleaned their goal from the way the things turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of them, there were a couple of them. Most of them were like fine in regards of they're being loud, they're chanting, they're being obnoxious, but like they're doing it in a way where it's like, okay, I'm fine with this. I have no issue. I know there was at least one, some kid who wasn't wearing a mask. Other than that, I'm not going to get into physical descriptions because meh. But he was very much into shouting people down in an aggressive manner, who were like, who would try to speak against him. It's like, there's a difference between I am going to shout my message and then, kid, you are about a hair's breadth away from either getting punched or punching somebody. And if that happens, your whole thing is going to take a nosedive. And then that's going to cause issues. And that was the only thing in that whole protest where I was trying to kind of like keep an eye on that kid, because if it was going to get to a point where security was going to need to be involved, I had a strong suspicion it was going to be him. And that's one of the other reasons why I was thinking they need to practice this more, because if they practiced it more, I think that kid would have been in much better control. And not to say not to be emotive. You can absolutely be emotive. Being emotive is great for this. But he was getting to the point.
But not be taken over.
Exactly.
He was taken over by,
Yeah, he was getting to the point where I was just like, you're going to hit somebody if this escalates like much more with your emotions, and that's just going to be bad for everybody. But yeah, no, Mr. Morgan, do you have any follow-up questions?
I mean, not really. I think we're all in agreement here. I think absolutely if the goal was to steamroll, absolutely, mission accomplished. But I think this could have been practiced more, as you say. I think that they could have protest outside the building and had people within the crowd, answer questions, or like we said, when he lies or something, or when he tries to weasel out of something, be like, excuse me.
Call him on it.
Yeah, call him on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, it's so hard for me, because like when you boil it down to it, like we're all on the same side, the people in the building were there, to listen to Wyden speak and to maybe speak truth to that power, but then you have these people that come in and it's like, we like the energy, but we want to have like a debate with this guy too, so he really understands. So yeah, it's a lot for me to chew on right now, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah.
And what was it? I did get to participate after this protest in an online, not discussion. Discussion to me is like Facebook and arguing with people, and that's again always in air quotes productive. But there was for the local, I think it's a local Democrat group or one of the local progressive Facebook groups, they had a Zoom discussion of like what happened with it. And a lot of them were in agreement. It's like the messaging was good. And a lot of the discussion about that too was getting into, do we want to try to get them to be more collaborative with us in like these kinds of protests? And the general consensus was, we don't really want to, not because we don't agree with their message, but they're a separate entity. And again, they are great. They're a great help when it comes to countering the salt shakers. But we don't want to call them in on too much stuff, because if we do, we're going to have to like collaborate more with them, not in a way of we don't want to collaborate with them, but more in a way of they do not want to necessarily be in a situation where another group has more control over them. And I respect that. And it was an interesting discussion to see and be, like listen to online about that. I do wish them, more luck with doing more protests. If this is something that they want to continue doing with its, steamrolling, then that's fine. If any of them listen to this, which I have no realistic expectation they do, but if they do, I do want you to consider your tactics and what might be more effective in the long run as opposed to steamrolling. And what sucks is those kind of tactics are not necessarily going to be, oh, this is so satisfying right out the gate. Those are tactics where you might end up leaving what you're protesting feeling very frustrated. Whereas if you can steamroll, at the end of the day, you might feel fantastic, even if it didn't actually perpetuate much in the way of change.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess my advice would be, hone that sharp edge. If you want to be cutting and you want to make a point, then, what you did, maybe you do feel good after it, but maybe someone like Chris Barnett is fucking there and he uses it against you, and to be like,
see, that's the thing, is that like it can be easily turned against you, the narrative can be switched, or because a lot of the people in the audience we're not in favor of them, even that they might have shared their message. And so it can kind of create enemies and such in a way, even though you're maybe on the same border. And training is a really good idea. I'm a big believer in that you should never do anything in real life for the first time, anything like that. Like any you should always practice first and then get it down, and then when you do it in real life, you're not as emotional. You're actually more effective and such, like we were talking about before.
Yeah. I guess that's, I guess that's why I feel so much on the fence about this, because it could have been used in a really good way, but it does seem like they were kind of unpracticed. It does seem like, they were just kind of flying off the seat of their pants. And I feel like that's dangerous in the sense of the other side can use this against us, and I don't want that.
Right.
So, I mean, if they wanted to steamroll, good on you. But, maybe next time, if that wasn't your goal, let's practice this. Let's get it down.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, I really enjoyed the tenacity of them.
Absolutely. I did too.
If that sort of tenacity, aggression, however you want to call it, was practiced by other Democratic leaders, I think we'd be better off. And I'm totally in the boat in that our Democratic leadership is down the toilet because of people like Wyden who just take money from a foreign government and basically is paid to vote into their interests.
Yeah.
And just a lot of other leaders just playing like total softball. Hakeem Jeffries and all those other guys. There's too little difference between those guys and people on the right.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yep. And that goes to what I've said before. It's like, if people have a choice between Republican and Republican light, why would you vote for Republican light?
Yeah.
So, well, Eric, thank you very much for coming
Yes,
on the
thank you.
podcast. This was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, not a problem at all. It was an absolute pleasure. So we're going to close out then in a sec. So as we close out, for our listeners, please remember to reach out to your local politicians. I still advocate for reaching out to Cliff Bentz and Commander Chris. Let them know how you feel and be sure to be civil. I know Chris is still really sensitive about having been reported to the Civil Air Patrol for having multiple charges of elder abuse against him. Civil charges, not federal, not felony charges. But, feel free to bring it up. If you have any suggestions or ideas, please be sure to email them to maltliquorsocialists@gmail.com.